Hello my friends, thanks for stopping by. I hope you're all having a great day. Today I thought I would toss my hat into the ring with my thoughts and a mini review on the Revlon Youth FX. This foundation is to fill and blur. It has an SPF of 20. It is $17.99. Anyway, I did buy the foundation. I did not buy the blurring primer because I just do not like those types of primers. So on this side of my face, I did prime with my Algenist, and it is the Pore Corrector Anti-Aging Primer. I love it. I wanted to do it with primer and without. So there's no primer on this. This is just my moisturizer and my sunscreen. Today's sunscreen is the Elta MD in the clear, and that was put on first because it works best for me. And while I'm talking about it, I'm going to go ahead and say I did try this Botanical Australian Gold Tinted Sunscreen 50. It was a hot mess on my dry, mature skin. Now, I've seen a ton of people on YouTube talking about this. Some are younger, some are middle of the road, some are a little bit older, but they have different skin types. Mine is very dry. What this did is it gathered in every single pore on my face. It just made my makeup a mess. So this is going back for me. If you are using it in the comments and you have a different type skin, or you have the same type skin and it has worked for you, go ahead and let us know, because I am only one woman here. So let's get started so this doesn't go too far. What I'm going to do is demonstrate this for you, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my makeup and wear it out through the day, and then come back and let you know how it wore and my first impression. So like I said, I'm going to start with the Sand Beige, and we are going to go ahead and squirt it out on our hand. Now, it is a thicker foundation, as you can see, and I'm going to go ahead and just dab it down so you can see the color. I'm going to stick with the Sand Beige. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to put a little bit here and here and here. And what I thought I would do is I would use a brush first, and I'm using the IT Cosmetic brush, and then I'm going to try the other side with the sponge to see how it plays with brush or sponge, because many people choose to use different applications for their foundation. And I am not a brush person at all. I am a sponge person, or my hands. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to put a little bit of it on the brush, load up the brush slightly, and then we're going to go ahead and we're just going to tap it on. This foundation is a little bit light on me, but you know I can make it work. That's the only another problem with drugstore is this is a thicker foundation. But with drugstore, you can't really, there's no testers, and I understand, because people would just destroy them and steal them, and it would just become a problem. And I think for drugstores, you know, they're thinking hygienic. But anyway, so it's hard to pick the color out. Okay, so for a brush, it gives you more coverage in a foundation than I like. Again, it's a little on the white tone. If it had just a pinch more yellow in it, it would work for me, because its level is pretty good, but the tone is not. So I'm just going to go ahead and lightly sweep it under my eyes. I'm going to go over my eyes. I'm doing this because there are women that do not wear concealer or eye primers base. So I want you to see how it covers bluing underneath the eye. Okay, so there is that. Now I'm going to take my little trusty mirror here, and I need a new backing. I do this so you're not distracted by what you're seeing. Okay, it is a thicker foundation, like I said, so I would probably use less of it and really work it down. And let's go underneath. This little brush is a nice foundation brush, and I'm not a foundation brush kind of person. Okay, so it actually applies very nice and smooth. I have a lot of wrinkles underneath my eyes. I have some fine lines here, and I have deep lines on my forehead here. I have one that runs across here, and then of course I have my marionette lines, and I have a jowl line right here. So those are the lines that I'll be watching for today. I will have to set this foundation just like any other foundation. So right now I'm just going to pat it down and make sure I have no brush lines in it to see what it really looks like. Okay, so there are no brush lines. I'll tell you, if you're somebody that likes a fuller coverage, you are going to actually like this foundation. So now for the other side, no primer on here. It actually lays nicely on the primer. On this side, no primer, just my moisturizer, my sunscreen, my serums, everything that I do to my face has been done on this side. So now I'm going to take my damp Beauty Junkie sponge and I'm going to pick up some of the foundation. I'll probably need a little bit more, and I'm going to start pouncing. You'll probably get a thinner application with the sponge, which may be better for me. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit more on here. I'm going to pick it up on my sponge and just start working it all the way around. It is giving a much thinner application using the sponge. I'll tell you, it may dry down, so we're going to give it a little bit of time, but it's looking oily to me. Like kind of greasy, and I don't like that. Even though I'm dry, I like a glow, but I don't like an oily, greasy look. But like I said, once we do a little dusting of powder over it, and I am going to do a little dusting of powder over it because that is what I would do with any other foundation, so we want to play fair. Okay, so that is the application with my Beauty Blender, which it is not doing much to cover the dark circles underneath my eyes. It is giving a thinner application, which would maybe what some women are looking for. It's actually, it has a nice amount of coverage with the sponge, but not as much as the brush, okay? So I'm just gonna go ahead and take my Beauty Blender now, or my Beauty Junkie, because I like a little bit of a lighter application. I'm just going to pounce over the whole face. I'm not really removing, I just want to try to make it even, a little more even, because I have to be out of the house today, and I don't want people looking at me strangely, one side caked and one side not. You'll see all my battle wounds from my puppy. I have bruises all over. She's teething. She bit me over here. She got me on the chin the other day. She got me right here in the forehead the other day. She's not planning any of it. She's just a puppy. We're working on it. She has lots of chew toys, and she's doing really, really well. And she has her own Instagram now, Harley Golden Doodle. I'll put the link below for you, because some of you aren't interested in the puppy stuff on my Instagram, so I thought I would split it up. Okay, so it is. It gives a nice coverage, but I will say it needs a primer because all of my pores are accentuated here, and it definitely needs. I need more around my eye area because I have tons of blue veins around my eyes. You can see them. If you were in person with me, you would definitely see my blue veins. Where I have applied, and it's a little bit heavier, it is already collecting in the lines underneath. That is without powder. So I'm going to go ahead and do the concealer now. And the concealer was $13.99, and I bought the light medium. I probably could have used the medium, but I was a little worried. And this is supposed to do the same, fill, blur, and conceal. So we will see. Gently dot concealer directly under eye area, blending outward, spot apply throughout the face. Okay, so we shall see, and it's in one of those pumps, so I did prime it so we weren't sitting here forever trying to pump it down. It's very similar to the Maybelline, only the Maybelline you wind up, but it has a sponge tip applicator. So I'm going to go ahead and pump it, and we will go ahead and I'm going to do just on the outer edge of where my puffiness is, because I don't really want to put a ton of this on my puffiness because then it will accentuate those puffies. And I'm going to take this is a Morphe E8 brush. I love this brush for concealer, and it's very inexpensive. And I'm just going to pounce, and notice when I'm pouncing, I'm dragging it down just slightly. Doing all this is just too much for an aging person. Well, it's too much for me. But if you want to highlight that area a little bit, you can go ahead and just drag down slightly, and then I'm really going to pounce it. You see now I have focused most of the color right here, and then I'm just going to lightly go over and drag what's left across underneath my eye, okay? And just tap it and give it a light feathering to blend. Okay, so it covers pretty good. We're going to do the other side. And I'm just doing one pump of it. You can see how much is coming out with one pump, okay? So you don't really need to really pump it up. You just need one pump, and it gives you enough on there. It actually, here I'll highlight a little bit here. You can see how much pump you get in one pump, okay? So we'll just do this. Okay, now I'm going to use my fingers. Well, let's go ahead and use a sponge on this side. So I have this is the Beauty Junkie, and it's an angled one. It has a slant on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll use the shorter side, and we're going to pounce that. And again, I do the same thing, pounce with a light sweeping, and it's actually not spreading as well with this. And it's also giving a much thinner application. So you can see that it really doesn't cover as well as the brush side. So just to even me up, I am going to just apply a little bit more, and I'm going to try my finger now to see. And you know I'm a big patter, so I just keep patting. And I think padding is important as we age. And also if you're somebody who has very active skin, and by active skin I mean someone who still breaks out with acne, or you may have scarring from your youth and you try to cover some of it up, or you're like me and you just have very strong veins around your eyes, pat everything. It actually, to constantly rub, you're just wiping it away, but if you pat, you're really working it into the areas that you need it. Okay, so there is the application of the concealer and the foundation. And of course, I'm going to set it. I'll go ahead and set it with you, and then I'm going to do my makeup, and I will come back and I will share with you how I feel about it. I may come back and do my mascara on camera because I bought I had never tried Better Than Sex, and I bought the new L'Oreal that they're comparing it to. So I'm going to take that sponge, and I'm going to pick up my RMS powder, and I'm using the RMS because it's the finest powder I have, and it works really well underneath, but I also want to use a finer powder so we can see how this foundation really acts during the day. So I'm going to go ahead, notice I patted out the lines. I patted out what was filling up my lines, and I'm just going to set that underneath my eye. If you don't set this, you are definitely going to have oily under eyes. You may risk transferring with your mascara, and you also will be accentuating every crease because it will be gathering in there. So I can tell you, this is one that has to be set. It's not going to dry down by itself. Okay, let me feel my face. It's still very tacky. So I'm gonna go ahead with that same RMS powder because it's the finest powder I have. And I'm going to just put some in the lid, and then I'm going to set this foundation with that powder. And then I will be back later with the results. I decided to make this a two-for. We are going to do the mascaras, and believe it or not, I have never tried by Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, and they are comparing the new Voluminous Lash Paradise by L'Oreal to it. You can see the packagings are very similar, the tubes are very similar. So we are going to go ahead, I'm going to apply them. I'll tell you what my first impressions of them are. They are both black. They both claim to show, you know, in the 90% range of volume and length and just overall beautiful lashes. So they're making some pretty big claims. And of course, one is between the $20, $30 range, and the other is between the, I think it's between $10 and $15 range, or maybe even less. I can't remember the prices. I will put them below for you. All right, so I have curled my lashes with my Shuyuruma. I don't know how to say it. And I just curled the left side. So let's get started. We're going to start with the Better Than Sex. And first, let's look at the wand. It's a very nice wand. It's a little bit fatter than most wands that I use, but that's okay. And it's black. And it comes out pretty clean on the brush. So we are going to apply this. Let me see, probably be better if I did it this way. Okay, let's get the hair out of the way because we don't need mascara on there. And I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put one coat of this on, and then I'll do the other lash with the L'Oreal, and then we will come back and put another coat on, but we'll see what it does with one coat first. But I usually put 2 coats of mascara on, but I want you to be able to see what one coat looks like. Now, my lashes are in pretty good shape. I do use Lash. I've been using it for a couple years now. When I stop using it, my lashes do thin out. So that's the downfall. It's an expensive little habit. Okay, there is one coat of the Better Than Sex. And actually, I think this claims that with one coat, 90% saw a dramatic look. So I don't know if you consider that dramatic, but for lashes, it's not bad, okay? But again, I'm using Lash. My lashes are in pretty good shape right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and curl this side, and we will do the L'Oreal Lash Paradise and see how that looks with one coat, and then we'll go and we'll put 2 coats. And the reason why I want to do 2 coats in the video is because once this dries, some mascaras that you use and you go to put a second coat on, you get a lot of flaking and fallout. So let's see how that is, all right? But we're gonna curl the right lashes. Okay, so lashes are curled. Let's look at this brush. We have to look at them together. They're very, 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 very similar. The holder for the Better Than Sex is much larger than the L'Oreal, but the brushes, if I hold them together, the Better Than Sex is just a fraction longer, and that is what they look like by each other. Again, both black, and I will say, looking at them, the blackness is pretty even. We'll see how that looks on the lashes though. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the L'Oreal Lash Paradise on my right side. I actually think this looks blacker to me than the other side. Huh. Okay, so there is the L'Oreal. I actually think the L'Oreal looks blacker, and I kind of think it wins out for the first coat. Okay? All right, so now let's take the Better Than Sex and we'll go back and put another coat on over this, because I want to see if I get any flaking or fallout from it. And I also want to see how it builds up with a second coat. I'm a mascara snob. I really am. I admit it. My mascara, I like it to give me really thick. I'm more about volume than I am length. Okay? So, let's go ahead and finish this up. Okay, so I think it looks pretty good. Let me take a close look and see if there's any fallout from the first application. Like minor, like I wouldn't even consider it a problem, okay? That's how minor it was. So let's do the same thing with the L'Oreal. And then I am going to just finish up and I am going to go about my day and get my business done. And then I'm going to come back and check in and we're going to see how the foundation did and the mascara and the concealer. Okay, so we're taking another of the L'Oreal. And I get a little crazy sometimes with my mascara, and I start getting it all in the lid. Okay, I gotta say, my friends, all right, there's 2 coats of that one, and let's see if there's any fallout. A little bit, a tiny little bit that you just sweep away. So it's not bad. And here's a little trick for you, my friends. I think I've talked about this before. I get a little crazy, and I have some mascara up there. If you try to wipe it away while it's wet, you're going to make a mess. Wait for it to dry down, and then we will wipe it away with a spoolie. So now I'm just going to do the bottom lashes real quick. And I only put 1 coat on the bottom lashes, and this is how I apply it, but you apply it whatever way you want. All right, so we are going to do the L'Oreal Lash Paradise, and we will go ahead and just sweep the wand across. So there is what we have. Now that piece that I messed up on the top, take your spoolie and just flake it away. And anything else that might be on your face, if you just take a light spoolie, it picks them up really easily. Okay, so that is the finished look of 2 coats of mascara. So now I'm going to go about my day, and you're going to go about yours, and then we're going to get together and we're going to have a chit chat. Okay, I'll be back. All right, my friends, it has been about 4.5 hours, and I thought I would come and take a look-see at my face. Unfortunately, my friends, I am not as handy or clever in my editing as some people are. I know many of you watch people who are very good at taking pictures of themselves before and after, and I have not yet mastered the art of that. All I can do right now is just look at my face and tell you all what I'm seeing. And there will be no before and after pictures until I learn how to do that. And then when I learn how to do that, that's what you will get. All right. But for now. All right. So let's start with the foundation. I actually think the foundation from a distance has a very nice look to it. You know, the colors are slightly off, but we're going to just overlook that because it's more about the wear and tear of the makeup. On the primer side, which is this side, it held up pretty good. Now when I lift my folds, there's not too much going on in them. However, I do not feel that it is blurring the lines. When you're looking at my face outside of the camera and the lights, I don't think it's blurring them totally out, okay? It is not a bad look though. All right, so the fold, the slight fold I have here in my chin, there's no caking going on in it, so I like that. Now I will say that it's a little bit cakey in the nostril area, the fold. Not so much in the jowl or the marionette lines. There's actually nothing going on there. Or here where I have a pretty deep wrinkle. But right around the nose area, it is a little cakey on both sides. And it's just slightly caking in here where I have no primer. This side had no primer on it. The rest of my lines, it's pretty good, my friends. It really is pretty good. Even in my eye area, there's not a whole lot going on. And after putting the powder on, it did not really crease. So I am going to say, now I have dry skin, so it may play better on a normal combination skin, but it's not bad. It's comfortable to wear. I will say I feel a little bit parched, a little drying on my skin. Because I've changed nothing in the skincare or the sunscreen. Those remain the same. So the foundation is making me feel a little bit dry. And on the side where there is no primer, the only thing you really can see that's more obvious is my pores. Okay, so it does need a primer. Now the mascara, this is surprising to me. On the Better Than Sex side, which is this side, I have a lot of little droppings, a lot of flaking from the mascara. No transfer at all on the Better Than Sex, just some flaking, which you would probably look at yourself every time you go to the bathroom or something and just wipe them away. Now on the L'Oreal side, there's one flake right there, and there's one, well, tiny, tiny little flakes. But there's also some up in here, and how that got up there, I don't know, but there is some flaking up there. No transfer of the mascara on either side. So I would say that overall they are very, very much the same. I do feel that this side was a little bit blacker. This may be slightly thicker, and this one's thicker with more length, okay? But having no transfer is a good thing, and minimal flaking is also a very good thing. So overall, I think that the mascara, why buy the Better Than Sex when this one here, if you can find it, because I liked it so much that I tried to buy another tube at Target, totally sold out. And when I was there the other day, they had a full display. Now let me see where my sunglasses laid. It actually held up. It's not worn off. A little bit on the side where there's no primer. It's worn right here, but not so much. And I had some big goggles on today because I have my contacts on. But it does look cakey on the nose area. It really does. It's a little cakey here now. You could probably use less than I used. I did put a fair amount on before I actually got into the nitty-gritty of putting it on. So, you know, all in all, not bad, but I do feel parched, okay? And that is how this mature woman feels about a foundation and mascara that the youngins are raving about. I don't know that all of them are raving about the foundation. I would say that no, they're not. I haven't watched a ton of them. And I've not yet seen any of the mature women that I watch do a review on this. And I know that of the mature women I watch, most of them have different skin types than me. So they may have a different outcome, okay? Let us know in the comments if you're using either one of these, and if you, how you are feeling about it, and what type skin you have, and did you wear it with primer? Did you buy their primer? And what do you think about the $17.99 price? And the $14 price for the concealer. Oh, let's talk about the concealer. The concealer I probably would not bother with again, although it did not, after I set it with the powder, it did not crease or gather in any of the lines, but I will say that my darkness is showing through. Maybe not so much on camera, but in person, my darkness is showing through. Okay? And that's it for me. So thanks for stopping by. Don't forget, subscribe. We're anti-aging here. Be happy, healthy, beautiful, and most of all, my friends, lovable. Let me know if you like these types of videos. These are more buy the hottest, newest thing that everybody's talking about and just doing a trial run on my mature skin. Okay? See ya. Bisous.